In a world that constantly demands more success, more connections, more noise, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But what if improving your life wasn't about adding more? What if the real key lay in quietly letting go of the things that no longer serve you? Imagine creating space for clarity, peace, and true purpose simply by eliminating the unnecessary. In this episode, we'll explore 10 powerful things you should quietly remove from your life, drawing inspiration from the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. These are not loud, dramatic changes needing applause or validation. They're quiet, personal shifts that clear away the mental, emotional, and physical clutter weighing you down. You'll learn how to silence the fear of others' opinions, free yourself from toxic relationships, release the need for control, and escape the endless digital noise. These are deep changes, not surface-level tweaks, the kind that lead to greater freedom, self-respect, and genuine contentment. By the end, you'll have a simple yet powerful roadmap to help you gently remove what's holding you back and focus on what truly matters. Because sometimes the most profound transformations happen not with noise, but in silence. Let's begin with the very first step: overcoming the fear of others' opinions. Ask yourself how much of your life has been shaped by the invisible fear of judgment. Maybe you hesitated to speak up, second-guessed a decision, or stayed within your comfort zone, all because of a worry that someone might disapprove. Over time, this subtle fear doesn't just control your actions. It shapes who you are, making you live a smaller version of your true self, one dictated by others' approval rather than your own fulfillment. But here's the liberating truth. People aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you fear. Everyone is wrapped up in their own worries and insecurities. Even if someone does judge you, so what? Their opinions don't pay your bills, build your dreams, or live your life. Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught us a powerful lesson. Focus only on what's within your control, your thoughts, actions, and attitude. You can't control others' perceptions, but you can control how much you let those perceptions define you. He once said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Growth often comes with discomfort, and sometimes with being misunderstood. So how do you start letting go of this fear? Catch yourself in the moment. When you hesitate because of imagined judgment, pause and ask, am I acting out of fear or out of my values? Challenge the fear. What's truly the worst that could happen? Most times, the answer will feel surprisingly small. Here's a simple exercise. Each time you feel that fear creeping in, take one small action anyway. Over time, these moments of quiet courage will rewire your mind, teaching it to seek internal alignment rather than external approval. And now, with this newfound mindset, let's move to another crucial step toward inner peace: cutting out toxic relationships, quietly, intentionally, and with kindness. After learning how to stand firm against the fear of judgment, the next step is just as vital: building a life surrounded by authenticity, not approval. It starts small. Take one step outside your comfort zone, the kind you usually shy away from. Maybe it's sharing your idea during a meeting, posting something personal online, or simply trying a new style you've always liked but were too shy to wear. Each time you push past that hesitation, you're retraining your mind to seek alignment with your values rather than craving outside validation. Over time, what once felt terrifying will begin to feel empowering. You'll notice yourself walking a little taller, speaking a little clearer. And just as important as personal courage is your environment, the people you choose to have around you. Toxic surroundings filled with judgment and criticism only magnify your fears. That's why it's crucial to seek out those who encourage your growth, who love you for your authenticity, not for how well you conform. Even in supportive spaces, though, the goal isn't to eliminate judgment altogether, because that's impossible. The real victory is building enough inner strength that the opinions of others no longer steer your life. After all, the desire to belong is natural, but true belonging isn't about twisting yourself into someone else's mold. It's about standing as your authentic self and finding those who respect you as you are. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, At the end of my life, do I want to look back and realize I live for others' expectations or for my own truth? Most of the judgments you fear today will be forgotten by tomorrow. But the choices you make for yourself, they'll stay with you forever. Overcoming the fear of judgment is not about ignoring the world around you. It's about choosing whose voice matters, especially your own. When you do, the world grows quieter, your mind clearer, and your path unmistakably your own. Now that you've begun to reclaim your voice, it's time to address another silent force that could be holding you back: toxic relationships. We've all heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But what happens when some of those people quietly drain your energy, erode your confidence, or make you question your own worth? Toxic relationships aren't always obvious. Sometimes they don't come with loud arguments or dramatic betrayals. Instead, they show up as constant tension, subtle criticisms, or one-sided dynamics where you're always giving and rarely receiving. Over time, these relationships silently wear you down. They sap your self-respect, kill your motivation, and can even lead to physical stress. Yet many of us cling to them, out of guilt, fear of confrontation, or simply out of habit. But cutting out toxic ties doesn't have to be loud, messy, or dramatic. In fact, the most powerful way to free yourself is often the quietest, by simply stepping back. Spend less time with those who weigh you down and more time with those who lift you up. But how do you know when a relationship has turned toxic? Listen to how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you leave feeling drained, anxious, or small? Are you constantly walking on eggshells, carefully navigating around their disapproval? If so, it may be time to create distance. Healthy relationships energize you. They don't leave you emotionally exhausted. Stoic wisdom reminds us, keep company only with those who uplift you. That doesn't mean cutting ties at the first sign of trouble. It means setting clear boundaries with those who consistently bring chaos into your life. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about protecting your peace. Maybe you choose to limit time with a drama-driven friend, or perhaps you steer conversations toward positive ground. Small, consistent steps create powerful change, because in the end, your energy is precious, and it should be guarded with care. Sometimes, no matter how much distance we create, some relationships might still linger with tension. That's when honest communication becomes essential. Not every difficult relationship is beyond saving. Sometimes a candid conversation, sharing how you truly feel, can spark growth and change. But if you've tried and nothing improves, it's okay to let go. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being. Here's something simple yet powerful you can do. Make a list of the people who consistently uplift you and those who drain you. Then ask yourself, can this connection improve through honest communication? If not, it might be time to create distance, gently but firmly. Remember, you don't need permission to protect your peace. You owe it to yourself to build an environment that nurtures your growth, not one that stifles it. Cutting ties with toxicity isn't about cruelty, it's about kindness unto yourself. When you free yourself from draining connections, you open up space for healthier relationships and a more fulfilling life. True self-respect comes from surrounding yourself with people who recognize your worth and inspire you to be your best. Once you've cleared the space of toxic connections, the next challenge lies even closer to home: breaking free from destructive habits. At first glance, some habits seem harmless: scrolling endlessly on your phone late at night, putting off important tasks, or reaching for comfort food under stress. But over time, these small actions quietly chip away at your peace, productivity, and well-being. Destructive habits don't just waste time. They drain your energy and erode your self-discipline. They block you from living the life you truly want. Breaking free starts with one powerful act: awareness. Most habits run on autopilot. You don't even realize you're doing them until the consequences pile up. Start by asking yourself, which habits leave me feeling worse afterward? Which ones hold me back from progress? Once you bring these patterns into the light, you can begin the process of change. The Stoics believe that true freedom comes from mastering your desires, not being enslaved by them. As Seneca wisely said, most powerful is he who has himself in his own power. Breaking free isn't about chasing perfection. It's about regaining control over the small choices that, over time, shape your life. One simple strategy is replacement. Instead of trying to stop a bad habit cold turkey, replace it with something positive. Mindlessly scrolling? Pick up a book or go for a quick walk instead. The goal isn't to create a void, it's to fill that space with something that truly serves you. Start small. If you're trying to cut back on late-night snacking, swap just one unhealthy snack for something lighter and nourishing. Over time, these small wins stack up, building momentum and restoring your confidence. And when you stumble, because you will, practice self-compassion. Treat slip-ups not as failures, but as opportunities to learn. What triggered this behavior? How can I handle it differently next time? Here's a practical challenge. Pick one habit you want to change this week. Focus on replacing it. Track your progress daily. At the end of the week, reflect. Did this change make me feel more in control? More at peace? More productive? Ask yourself, am I controlling my habits, or are my habits controlling me? Every small step you take toward eliminating destructive habits brings you closer to a life of true freedom, greater self-respect, and deeper well-being. Because real progress isn't found in grand gestures, but in small, consistent actions that build lasting change. And once you've tackled destructive habits, another silent trap awaits, the exhausting need to control everything around you. Let's explore why letting go might just be the greatest act of strength you can master. Letting go of the need to control everything isn't about surrendering. It's about reclaiming peace where stress once lived. And the beauty is, it starts within. Uncertainty is simply a fact of life. No amount of worrying, planning, or strategizing can erase it. When you accept that not everything falls under your control, you free yourself from endless, exhausting battles, and you create room for true peace of mind. Another powerful way to release control is by detaching from outcomes. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you pour your best effort into what you do, then release the obsession over how it will be received. Picture this. You're working hard on a project. Instead of stressing about whether it'll be praised or criticized, focus purely on your effort, your craft. By detaching from the result, you stay grounded and protect your inner calm. Here's a practical tip. Whenever you feel yourself getting stressed because things aren't unfolding as planned, pause and ask, is this something I can control? If yes, act. If no, gently remind yourself, I can't control this, but I can control how I respond. Over time, this habit becomes second nature. Mindfulness helps too. Simple practices like observing your breath or noticing your surroundings without judgment can train your mind to stay rooted in the now, rather than spiraling into what-ifs. If you ever find yourself exhausted from trying to control the uncontrollable, start small. Let go of just one thing today, a conversation, a worry, a minor inconvenience, and notice how it feels. Even a single act of release lightens your load. Remember, letting go isn't weakness. It's choosing peace over anxiety, acceptance over frustration, and in that space, you'll rediscover your clarity, your strength, and a calm mind ready to face whatever life brings next. Now that we've embraced uncertainty, another hidden trap needs confronting. Unrealistic expectations. Those silent saboteurs that steal our joy without us even noticing. Unrealistic expectations create a painful gap between the life we hope for and the life we actually live. Maybe you expected a friend to react a certain way and felt crushed when they didn't. Or perhaps you set a towering goal only to feel like a failure when results didn't come fast enough. The problem isn't ambition, it's the tight, rigid attachment to a single outcome. Forgetting that life by nature is unpredictable. Stoicism reminds us to ground ourselves not in how events unfold, but in how we respond. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. One major source of unrealistic expectations? Perfectionism. Many of us expect ourselves to excel at everything flawlessly, leaving no room for mistakes. But perfection is a mirage, always out of reach, always making you feel not enough. Letting go of perfection means embracing progress over flawlessness. recognizing that every misstep is a stepping stone, not a failure. We also often place unrealistic expectations on others, expecting people to always understand us, agree with us, behave just the way we think they should. But people are complex, imperfect, just like we are. True peace comes from practicing acceptance and empathy without tolerating harm, but also without demanding perfection. Here's how you can start. First, spot where your expectations might be too rigid. Are you demanding instant results in a long journey? Are you holding someone to impossible standards? Then shift your mindset. Instead of bracing for perfection, prepare for reality. Stay flexible. Embrace surprises. A quick exercise. Think about an area where you felt frustrated recently. Ask yourself, was my frustration born from an unrealistic expectation? If yes, breathe, reframe it. Focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, your choices. Ask yourself again, am I holding on to expectations that are making me unhappy? Letting go doesn't mean giving up your dreams. It means freeing yourself from unnecessary stress. It means striving for greatness with an open heart and a flexible spirit. Because life almost never goes exactly as we expect, but often it unfolds exactly as we need. When you release unrealistic expectations, something magical happens. You stop wrestling with reality and start flowing with it. You find joy in progress rather than perfection. And even when life doesn't unfold exactly as planned, you remain grounded, resilient, and focused on what truly matters. Now it's time to face another silent thief of our inner peace, the need to always be right. Have you ever found yourself locked in an argument, unable to walk away because you had to prove you were right? Most of us have. What feels like a quest for truth is often, deep down, a quest for ego validation. When your self-worth hinges on being right, every disagreement becomes a battlefield. You don't seek understanding, you seek victory. But even when you win the argument, it often feels hollow because it costs you something far more precious: harmony, trust, and emotional energy. Letting go of the need to always be right doesn't mean you stop standing up for your beliefs. It means you choose your battles wisely, valuing peace over pride. Not every disagreement needs a clear winner. Sometimes the wisest and strongest thing you can do is simply agree to disagree. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus famously said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." True wisdom, they taught, comes from humility, the willingness to listen, to admit when you might be wrong, and to stay open to new perspectives. Think about the people you admire most. Are they the ones who dominate conversations, desperate to have the last word? Or are they the ones who listen deeply, acknowledge other viewpoints, and respond thoughtfully? Being right may feel satisfying in the moment, but being kind and understanding builds something far more lasting: respect and trust. Here's a simple way to practice. The next time you're in a disagreement, pause. Ask yourself, am I listening to understand or just waiting for my turn to speak? Shift your focus from winning to connecting. You'll be amazed at how this small change transforms the conversation and how you feel afterward. Another powerful reminder: is this really worth my peace? Not every argument deserves your energy. Prioritizing your inner calm over temporary ego wins isn't weakness, it's profound strength. Here's a practical exercise. Next time you catch yourself insisting on being right, ask, do I want to be right or do I want to understand? If understanding feels more valuable, step back, listen, and let go of the need to dominate. Because in the end, letting go of the need to be right frees you from constant defensiveness and opens the door to real growth, deeper understanding, and genuine connection. Speaking of noise, sometimes it's not just arguments that crowd our minds. It's the constant buzz of digital noise that leaves us feeling scattered and drained. In today's world, it's nearly impossible to escape the flood of notifications, emails, and updates. Every beep, buzz, and ping demands your attention, pulling you further away from what truly matters. While technology offers countless conveniences, it also creates mental clutter that drains our energy and fractures our focus. Here's the real danger. Digital noise doesn't just steal your time, it hijacks your mental space. When you're constantly plugged in, your mind never truly rests. You might think you're staying informed or connected, but in reality, you're overstimulating your brain, robbing yourself of the ability to focus, reflect, and be fully present. Silencing the digital noise doesn't mean abandoning technology. It means setting intentional boundaries so that you use technology rather than letting it use you. Start by identifying where most of your digital noise comes from. Is it endless social media scrolling, constant email alerts, never-ending group chats? Once you spot the culprits, take small, deliberate steps to cut the noise. Unfollow accounts that don't bring value. Unsubscribe from email lists that clutter your inbox. Turn off non-essential notifications. Each small change creates more mental space for clarity, calm, and real presence. Another simple but powerful practice? Introduce tech-free moments into your day. For example, start your morning without reaching for your phone. Spend the first 30 minutes meditating, journaling, or just enjoying a peaceful start. Similarly, set a time in the evening to power down, giving your mind the quiet it needs to reset and recharge. By setting boundaries with technology, you don't just reclaim your time, you reclaim your mind. As the Stoics remind us, in a world buzzing with distractions, real strength lies in guarding your attention, like the precious resource it truly is. A simple but powerful practice is to set specific times for checking your phone or email. Instead of reacting to every alert that flashes across your screen, decide when you will engage. Use tools like Do Not Disturb modes or app timers to help you stay focused. You'll be amazed at the clarity and calm that comes when you're no longer pulled in every direction. Ask yourself honestly, am I using technology intentionally, or is it using me? If you find yourself spending more time consuming meaningless content than creating meaningful moments, it's time to reset. Remember, silencing digital noise isn't about disconnecting from the world. It's about reconnecting with yourself. When you reduce the distractions, you create space for deeper focus, richer conversations, and genuine peace of mind. In a world that's always on, learning to step back and choose what deserves your attention is one of the most powerful skills you can cultivate. Now that we've cleared the digital clutter, it's time to tackle another silent force that shapes your reality: negative thoughts. Negative thoughts are sneaky. They often start small, a flicker of self-doubt, a moment of worry. But if left unchecked, they spiral into loops that drain your energy and cloud your judgment. Your thoughts shape your reality. Feed your mind negativity, and it's no wonder you feel anxious, unmotivated, or overwhelmed. The Stoics taught us, you can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you interpret and respond. Marcus Aurelius said it beautifully: the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. In other words, change your thoughts, and you change your experience of life. But transforming negative thoughts isn't about pretending everything's perfect or forcing fake positivity. It's about awareness and conscious choice. Start by noticing your inner dialogue. When you catch a negative thought, don't judge it. Just acknowledge it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or holding me back? This simple question creates just enough distance for you to choose a better response. Next, practice reframing. If you find yourself thinking, I always mess things up, reframe it to, I made a mistake, but I can learn and improve. This shift doesn't deny reality. It empowers you to grow from it. Another powerful tool: gratitude. Negative thoughts often focus on what's missing or wrong. Gratitude shifts your focus to what's present and right. Next time negativity creeps in, pause. List 3 things you're grateful for. Even small ones, like a good meal, a supportive friend, or simply having a roof over your head. Gratitude doesn't erase challenges, but it balances your perspective and opens your heart to possibility. Surround yourself with positive influences too. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, all leave a mark on your mindset. Seek out friends, mentors, and communities that uplift you. Feed your mind with books, podcasts, and conversations that inspire growth. Here's a practical exercise. When stuck in a negative loop, take a deep breath and ask, is this thought based on facts or just fear or assumption? If it's fear, challenge it. Replace it with a thought that's balanced, supportive, and constructive. Ask yourself, am I feeding my mind with thoughts that build me up or tear me down? You can't always control the first thought that pops into your mind, but you can control whether you entertain it or replace it. Transforming your thoughts isn't about denying reality. It's about choosing a mindset that empowers rather than limits. And with time, this quiet daily practice reshapes your inner world, building a brain and a life rooted in resilience, optimism, and strength. When you master your thoughts, you don't just survive, you thrive. You become more resilient, more optimistic, and truly in control of your inner world. Now let's turn outward and tackle something just as important: clearing physical and mental clutter. Have you ever walked into a messy room and immediately felt overwhelmed, even a little anxious? Clutter, whether physical mess around you or mental chaos within, creates a constant background noise. It drains your energy, scatters your focus, and makes peace harder to find. That's why clearing both your space and your mind is essential for a life where clarity and calm can truly thrive. Let's start with physical clutter. When your living or working environment is messy, your brain has to process all that visual information, even if you're not consciously aware of it. This constant overload raises your stress and weakens your ability to concentrate. But clearing clutter isn't just about aesthetics. It's about intentional living. Start simple. Choose one small area, your desk, a drawer, a shelf, and declutter it. As you clear the space, you'll likely feel a surprising sense of lightness and relief. Ask yourself, do the things around me add value to my life, or are they just taking up space? If something no longer serves a purpose or brings you joy, it's okay to let it go. The goal is not perfection. It's creating an environment that supports your peace, not disrupts it. Now let's talk about mental clutter. This is the jumble of racing thoughts, unfinished tasks, and unspoken worries that weigh on your mind. The Stoics believed in simplifying life by focusing only on what truly matters. As Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Clearing mental clutter means letting go of unnecessary worries and distractions, so your energy flows toward what truly counts. One effective method? Journaling. Take a few minutes each day to write down your thoughts, worries, and to-do lists. Getting them onto paper frees your mind from having to juggle everything at once. Another strategy is mindful prioritization. Instead of scattering yourself across endless tasks, choose your top 3 priorities each morning. By simplifying your focus, you reduce overwhelm and boost your sense of accomplishment. Here's a small challenge for today. Pick one small area to declutter, physically, and then take 5 minutes to write down any mental clutter weighing you down. Ask yourself, am I holding on to things, physically or mentally, that no longer serve me? If so, start letting them go. Remember, clearing clutter isn't about stripping your life bare. It's about making space for what truly matters. And in that simplicity, you'll find greater freedom, clarity, and a deeper, more lasting peace. Once you've cleared the clutter, there's one final trap we must avoid to truly protect our peace: the trap of unnecessary comparisons. In today's world, with social media showcasing only the highlight reels of others' lives, it's dangerously easy to slip into comparing yourself to everyone else. You see someone's promotion, dream vacation, or perfect relationship, and suddenly your own life feels smaller. But here's the truth. Comparison is a trap that robs you of joy, self-worth, and inner contentment. Why? Because comparisons are almost always based on incomplete information. You're measuring your full reality, your struggles, your insecurities, your messy behind the scenes, against someone else's carefully edited highlights. It's a battle you can never win. The Stoics had a different approach. Instead of comparing themselves to others, they focused on one thing: their own progress. Seneca advised, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. The only comparison that truly matters is the one between who you are today and who you were yesterday. Escaping the comparison trap starts with shifting your focus inward. Ask yourself, what are my values, and am I living true to them? When you measure success by your personal growth and fulfillment, not by external markers, you stop being enslaved by the lives of others. Gratitude is another powerful antidote to comparison. When you're caught up in what's missing, take a breath and ask, what is already good in my life? Simple things, a warm meal, a supportive friend, a quiet moment of peace, can remind you that abundance is already here. Another tip, limit your exposure to comparison triggers. If scrolling social media leaves you feeling less than, curate your feed or step away altogether when needed. If scrolling through social media ever leaves you feeling inadequate, take it as a gentle signal, a reminder to step back. You have control over what you consume. Unfollow accounts that make you doubt your worth. Spend more time engaging in activities that genuinely bring you joy and fulfillment. Curating a positive environment is one of the most powerful acts of self-respect. Here's something simple you can try. The next time you catch yourself comparing your life to someone else's, pause. Ask yourself, what's one thing I've accomplished recently that I'm proud of? This small shift helps redirect your focus back to your own journey, strengthening your sense of self-worth. Ask too, am I living according to my own values or chasing someone else's version of success? If you realize you're running someone else's race, gently remind yourself, everyone's path is different. What works for them may not work for you, and that's more than okay. Comparison is a distraction. It pulls you away from appreciating your own story, a story that's unfolding exactly as it should. By letting go of the need to measure yourself against others, you free up precious energy to focus on what truly matters, your growth, your happiness, your unique, beautiful path. And in doing so, you'll discover a deeper peace, a richer fulfillment, and a renewed sense of purpose, free from the invisible weight of comparison. At its core, life isn't about constantly adding more. Often, it's about quietly removing what no longer serves you. The fears you cling to, the toxic relationships, the destructive habits, the rigid expectations, they quietly shape your life, draining your energy, limiting your potential, and clouding your inner peace. But when you start quietly letting go, you make space for freedom, fulfillment, and true inner strength. This journey isn't about grand, dramatic gestures. It's about small, steady, intentional choices that add up to profound transformation. It's about learning to release the fear of judgment, cutting ties with what drains your soul, building a life where your time, your energy, and your heart are filled only with what lifts you higher. Letting go isn't easy. It takes courage to walk away from toxic patterns. It takes discipline to break free from destructive habits. And it takes deep self-awareness to stop trying to control everything around you. But every small decision to release what no longer serves you brings you closer to a life of clarity, peace, and powerful purpose. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The real power is, it always has been, within you, not in trying to change the world, but in changing how you respond to it. Remember, the most profound transformations often happen not in noise, but in silence. In those quiet moments when you finally choose to let go, even just a little. Ask yourself today, what's one small thing I can quietly eliminate from my life? Maybe it's a habit. Maybe it's a thought. Maybe it's a relationship that no longer nurtures you. Start small. Change doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be gentle, steady, and intentional. Every little step brings you closer to living with more freedom, less stress, and deeper self-respect. And you don't need anyone's permission. You don't need validation. This is your life, and your path is yours alone. What matters is that you are moving forward, quietly, steadily, courageously. So go forward, let go of what no longer serves you, and create the space for what truly matters. Peace of mind, genuine connection, and a life deeply, unapologetically aligned with your truest values. Thank you for taking this journey. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect. And if you're ready, begin today with one small change. Because true transformation doesn't shout, it whispers. It begins in the quiet courage of letting go. Until next time, keep growing, keep releasing, and most importantly, stay true to yourself.